Here we go. So we're back with another WLN. It's been a while, probably 3 weeks now since we've done one of these, but this is a video we've had in the works for a while. Me and Meech, who's with me today. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. So we've been talking about doing this for a while. We were going to rank the game modes from last year, but now we've got the blog, so we're like, let's do both. Let's compare the old version versus the new version. We'll give them both a grade. Obviously, we haven't played the new version, so we're just going to have to guess and hope that it's going to be what we think it is. But let's jump into it, man. Let's start with Triple Threat Online. So there's a few changes here, but let's talk about the old version first. What's your thoughts on Triple Threat last year?
So Triple Threat, it's not one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I liked it better when it was the 100. I know people probably don't like it too much. There's a reason for that. The original one, I actually liked it way better as the original.
Is that who you are on an island?
Yeah, I know. Me and probably two other people in the world, man. Yeah. The reason for that, though, is because I just felt that if you got to that top board, you normally saw the player card, which everyone's going for. You saw it more often if you got up there with like kind of a high amount of points. Whereas when they switched it, obviously, you you can get up there 30 times and never get it. So I felt like it was good for that.
You think they nerfed the odds once they changed it? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, right.
It had to have been. It had to have been. I mean, the first maybe 3 or so cards, I think I got because I would just get up there and I would eventually see it. And then afterwards, I just stopped trying. Once it reverted back to the old way, I would never see the card. So I just stopped trying whatsoever.
It's interesting you say that because like when I loaded up 2K22, the first thing I did was play TTO and I got Gus Gerard immediately. So I literally did a run, but I lost a couple of games on the way. So I think I was like 2-5 or something. That I got him on the 8th game, but he popped up. But I felt like the TTO rewards popped up pretty consistently after that as well. It was so easy to get there, though. That's the thing. Like, you have to go 5 and 5.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm sure a lot of people. I quit like the first 2 or 3 games.
Yeah,
I was just play up. So it went a little bit faster. I don't know. For me, I don't know if it was just my system or whatever the case was, but it was a ghost town up there. So I cut it short.
It's weird. Like for me, TTO has always been one of my least favorite modes to play because, like, you know, the AI has been brain dead and it's always just irritating. I don't know what it is about the mode. It's just irritated me for years. But about 2-3 months ago, it just randomly started becoming one of my favorite modes. I think it's because I learned to dribble. I think that's what changed.
That probably makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I started watching Jacob's videos, and once you know how to get open, it feels like a cheat code. Like, if you know how to So I think it became more fun. I got the mode. I wasn't relying on the movement of the AI as much. So I was able to just open and knock down shots. So it ended the year as a W for me, to be honest. I like the fact that for me, it's always good when anyone can get the reward and anyone can have success. Like, I like that. I think it's good for the mode when more people want to play it because they feel like they can have success. You know, we're going to talk about Unlimited later, but that's a good example of the other end of that spectrum where no one wants to play it because it's so difficult.
Not at all.
I think the rewards were good as well. We got Kazi Russell, Paul Silas. There were some good cards that came out of it. I'll give the old version a W, to be honest, for last year.
And bias aside, my personal bias aside, I will give it a W as well. That's mainly because, if you look at the game as a whole, we're getting rewarded for what you're doing. TTO probably is the place you wanted to go. If you wanted to get rewarded, I would even say during those, when they kind of had like the events over the weekend and the card will go up Friday. Even if you didn't get the actual card, you'll come out, some tokens, some MT, maybe you luck up in some packs. So because you're able to actually gain something from it, I'll give it a W too. I didn't personally like it, but overall as a mode, I would give it a W.
Fair. All right, cool. So all right, what out last year? So let's start with the changes they've just made to traditional Triple Threat first, and then we'll talk about the co-op one. So the two big changes they've made are defensive settings in game, so on the fly settings, and they've gone back to 10 and 3, or you can't lose 3. Basically, what would that be? 7 and 3. There we go.
7 and 3. 7 and 3.
That makes sense.
10 and 3.
So what's your thoughts on that then? Those two changes, you think it'd be better?
I mean, the defensive settings, I feel like needed to. I mean, I feel like there was a way that people were doing defensive settings. I never got into it, but
yeah,
people used to press me in TTO. I didn't know how to do it. I'm gonna be completely honest, but I swear I was getting pressed in TTO.
Yeah.
But I think making it more accessible so that way you can kind of game plan in TTO. It's needed because, like I said, some people I didn't know how to do it. So I think that's cool. I think it should have never left anyways, but to get added back in there would be cool. Yeah. And then the 7 and 3. I mean, it gives people leeway. From 22 though, that's not what it was in 22, was it? So you had more losses in 22.
In 21, you mean?
Was it in 21? I think I'm getting a little.
This one's 22, the one that we're playing right now. So 22, right now it's the 100. And then 21 and 20, it was the 10-3 system.
Right, but they're making it, so Triple Threat Online, let me just make sure I understand what I'm saying. So 10 games, 3 losses, run format. Compete.
So the unanswered bit here, so the progression of it was 2K20, we had the 10 and 10-3 system, but we had the spinners, right? So we had the different board.
Right.
And then 2K21, we had the current format of the boards, but it was still 10 and 3, so the spinners had gone.
Right.
And then 22, they did the 100. So we had
the 100. But in 20, when they changed it from the 100, you have more losses, right? For this year. So the end of it, in 22, you have more losses. You had like 5 losses or something, right?
Yeah.
Because you had to take away the 100 points.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. I'm with it now. Okay. So you only get the 3 losses. You know what? I'm indifferent on that.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent on it. Because now you're taking away a few losses. So obviously it'll make it a little bit harder for everyone to kind of get up there. So I guess it's like a middle ground of the pure 100 and then what we just had. So I guess I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I won't be quitting 3 games off the beginning anymore.
Yeah, that's the
sure,
difference. So. I think that's actually why they changed it, because I think a lot of the community was doing that and they were like super aware of it. Because the data must have just showed everyone was terrible for 3 games and then became a god for 7.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some unanswered questions here, like for me. So I don't mind the fact that it's 3 losses instead of 5, because it's much of the same. You need 8. The 8th ball drop is really when you get into that final tier anyway, right? So
exactly.
Really you have to go 5 and 3 to get a shot at one of the top boards. The question for me is, are the spinners coming back? That's the big question, because that's the question they haven't answered. If they're saying format from 2K20, then the format in 2K20 was spinners. Yeah, where we were making 20k a board run.
Yeah, I mean, and you kind of think about it, I guess that hopefully it is that way, because that's a trade-off, I mean, if we're taking away 2 losses from everybody, that's 2 boards, that they could have got some rewards on. So spinners is probably, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. So I guess if we go to the new one, that should be in 23. I guess if it's spinners, we'll say W. And if not spinners, I'm gonna go for neutral for now, I guess, because I don't really know what it'll look like. Maybe in those first, we don't know. Maybe the first few level will give us even better prizing. So who knows? You may get rewarded on early, but I guess we'll have to.
Yeah, that's true as well. The thing is, they're gonna have to switch some stuff out anyway, right? Contracts have gone, so that was always a big thing that you get in TTO.
That's true.
So they're gonna have to mix up the rewards slightly. It's gonna be interesting. I agree with you exactly. If they bring the spinners back, it's a monumental W. If they don't, all they've done is just made it a little bit harder to get to the top.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only change. Cool. I agree. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about co-op, because this is a new triple threat mode. What's your thoughts on this?
I've been mulling over this co-op thing for I don't know how long, because I read it and then I got kind of confused, so I had to go back and do it. So first of all, co-op as a whole is a W. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're adding ways to play, for interaction, whether it's content interaction or whether it's just with your friends. I mean, that can never be overlooked. And it's definitely, my team definitely needed more ways to do that, is what I think. Because, 100%. Normally you kind of fly solo. So I like the co-op Now, what I was trying to, and you can help me figure this out too, Jazz. You probably know. So, from what it looks like, it seems so. Is all of it triple threat offline though? It's all in the form of triple threat offline. It's just whether you're playing with people, competitive, or you can like kind of split the teams, right? But it's all triple threat offline.
So I think there's like 3 different versions of it, right? I think there's like a friendly version, there's like the rewards version, and basically the comp version is how I'd phrase it. But there's a comp version, which is you playing other teams, I think.
Yeah,
I think the rest of it is offline.
Part.
Yeah, I think so. And you could jump in with like AIs and stuff if you want to as well. So yeah, I think the friendly version, obviously, you'll be able to do, and then I think there is an offline version as well. It is confusing. I think the fact that they released 3 of them at once didn't help.
Yeah,
I understand this. But I think the main things people are going to be looking for is those ladder rewards.
Definitely.
Which I guess you will be able to do offline, and then the comp. I think the comp stuff will go crazy.
Oh, for sure. Everyone loves to sweat each other. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just kind of how it is. Because, yeah, even when I was reading the competitive part, it still said that you're still going to progress on your individual seasonal reward ladders, but then you just get that additional, MT prize or token packs, whatever it is. So, I mean, if it's really, you're, 3v3 competitive against people and you're climbing a triple threat offline ladder, like, listen, that's the only way I would ever get up the offline ladder. So
it's the only way to make the offline tolerable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not Blaze, so
he's on an island. That guy's on an island entirely. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's weird because I kind of said this yesterday in a video. Like, I kind of skipped over it. I looked at it and went, "All right, fair enough." And then I started getting DMs, and then I was getting tagged in it, going like, "Let's run next year." I'm so excited. I think it's just created a different kind of hype. To me, this is going to be the best thing to stream. It's parking my team, right? And my team's always been a little bit tricky when it comes to streaming. Mm-hmm. Either you're grinding XP, which is kind of boring, or you're sweating unlimited, which is not necessarily enjoyable for you or the people watching it. So I think this is the first time we're going to be able to have kind of 3 people on Discord, on a stream, having a laugh, like just all about fun, like the fun factor there. I think it's going to be huge for the game. I think it's going to go one of 2 ways, though, because this year, they added like play with friends, right? Scrims for TTO. And no one played it.
Yeah, it was a ghost town. But
and people were hyped about that when it dropped.
It did. In respect to that, though, I think what they thought that was this.
Yes, so, maybe, yeah.
I think that's probably what they really thought it was going to be.
Yeah. I think it's a W. I'm giving it a W all day long. I think the key thing that you said, like when you look at games like FIFA, you've got pro clubs where people just team up. Like this is what they do. Yeah, there's a squad of people. They go online, they play together, and it's a fun way to do things. And we've been able to do that in the park, obviously. But bringing that into my team, I think it's like the stepping stone to like 5v5 team up. That's what makes it really exciting.
Definitely. I think I tweeted something about we're gonna see it with. I wouldn't even doubt if it's 2K24. I mean, they're good at even integrating things throughout the. I mean, we won't see it this year. That'll be something, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it next year because I guarantee. I mean, I've even seen I'm not sure if anyone knows who Joe Knows is, but he's like as far as park YouTuber. I mean, guys up there. Yeah. But he even made reference to my team and said, "Is my team to move?" I mean, it's gaining attention, man. Like, it's gonna be.
It's gonna impact Park. It's definitely going to impact Park. I don't know how. It is going to impact Park significantly.
It definitely is. How it will. Yeah, W. I mean, this version, just W. I mean, I don't even have to see it to know that the impact is already there. I mean, everyone's already talking about it. So W for this way for sure. Even with the kind of the ambiguity around how some of it's working, just the concept of it is. It
is brilliant. I'm very fortunate that I know a lot of sweaty people on my server, so I should have a pretty good record. I'll get some people to carry me for the whole year. That'd be good. All right, let's move on to Unlimited. So let's do the old Unlimited format first, which I've been playing. I went 14-0 in Unlimited yesterday.
There you go.
I started this season, and I think on the first day I went 2-5, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't play the game unlimited this year. And I don't know why. Yesterday I was on stream with DBG, so I was chatting to him while he was streaming. And I was like, I'm just gonna play. Like, I can't leave it at that. I can't end the year 2-5. Like, that's not how it's gonna work. And I just went ham, bro. I just went on a run. It was all end games, all sweat. Like, I just locked in and went 40-0. So good way to end the year. But yeah, what's your thoughts on the format this year? Obviously, we had the 65 wins and 53 after that showdown on top.
So, man, I mean, you know, I love unlimited. Like, I think I made
that's your
fact that it's unlimited, but it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. Early on, perfect. I mean, some of the early on rewards, you know, Wilt to start the year. At some point, we got, you know, Gary Payton.
Payton,
I mean, Bob Nettle,
unreal, bro. Payton was
unreal for amazing. I didn't even think I was gonna like him, to be honest. And then I just like him so much. Like,
it was the first like legit high level unlimited reward we'd had since Rudy Gay in 2K20.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, he was great. So the thing about him, first of all, I love the mode, but it takes too long. I mean, even going undefeated, I think if you went undefeated, you still had to play at least 50 games.
Yeah.
It's
30 to 40 hours minimum.
Yeah, and it's tough, man. It's really unless that reward is just, I mean, the best thing on the planet. Which, I mean, in respect, some were, some weren't too much, but it's a long call. I mean, and the people who can go undefeated are very small, like a very small percentage. So, I think it was the structure of it was too long. Reward wise, like I said, early on, it was a lot better. Later on, not so much.
So you did like the rewards later on?
I didn't like the rewards later on.
We got Licky. What was he? Season 6, right?
I should have noticed because I just did something on it.
He was 6. I think Finley was 7.
6,
Grant Hill was 8. Yeah,
that's right.
He was probably the last god tier.
He was the last. Yeah, he was the last. I mean, very good. Even like Cincy was okay. I mean, there was some that really kind of like okay. Yeah, I personally love Cincy. But I know against some of the other guys, like he was just kind of like okay. But Bob was definitely the best.
So you were running him at the 5, right? Was that you?
Oh yeah, I was running him at the 5. I was doing weirdest things. I had to make it fun somehow. Nobody would.
Galactic Taco was in the game at that point, right?
It wasn't. Oh, was it Taco? No, I know Yao was.
Glitch Yao definitely would have been.
Yeah, it was definitely Glitch Yao. I was giving people fits with Yao. He was just it was so amazing. It was so amazing.
I wouldn't know what to make of it, bro. If you just rocked up with him and sent us 6-9. Okay, right. So you think it got worse as the year went on, basically?
Yeah, and not maybe worse. It stayed the same. It's just that everything in the game progressed so much that it didn't really matter to go and get it, unless it was just a trophy. I always call it the sweat trophy because that's what it became afterwards. You know, I mean that's the reason I got Grant Hill, which is because I was bored. I just wanted to have it. So for this, so 22, the way to have it, which was 22 and 21. I personally am gonna give it an N, neutral, because I love the moat so much, but I can't say it was the best. I mean, you saw everyone abandoned it. You know, it was only a certain demographic of people really playing it. So I'm gonna have to give it an N for how 22 had it. Yeah,
for me, I'm in a similar boat. Like, it is the mode I play every season. I got all the rewards apart from 2, I think. Who was it? Jason Richardson? Was it season 3?
Yeah, Jay Rich was 3.
What was the other one I didn't get? I got all the others. I kind of had fun doing it. I have to separate myself from this to actually grade it, I think. Like, the big issue is just how unappealing it was to the whole community. Like, people just didn't want to play it. And I think for that reason, it has to be an L. Like, they just put forward the most unappealing modes to millions of people. There's probably 300-400 people globally that enjoy playing Unlimited.
Probably. And a large portion of them probably are in the comp community, like the actual, like, comp community, you know. I mean, they don't even enjoy it for other reasons, you know, that we could go into, but
SPMM, for example, they're already playing each other now. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it has to be an L, even though it is probably the mode I've played the most this year, and probably the only kind of the one saving grace for Unlimited is like we talk about the token and like the card not really being relevant, but it's very hard to get that sense of achievement out of this game now. And Unlimited is still the only thing I would say that gives that to you. I don't get it from Clutch Time. I don't get it from Limited. I don't get it from XP. I mean, XP is literally just like ticking a box now. Right, that's
yeah,
done.
definitely.
So I think for that reason it's good. But yeah, it has to be an L. It has to be.
Definitely.
Just for the lack of player base.
Yeah, and I can respect that too.
Yeah,
the only reason I give it in is because they gave us some of the best rewards, but like you said, that's really my sole reason, is because some of the rewards were all kind of okay, and then they improved it with Showdown kind of mid season, but then like it was improved, but then after we were like, wow, what else? Well, 60 something wins after you already didn't win 50. It was
65.
Like, okay, it's just way too much.
Did you do Showdown? Did you ever do it?
I did Showdown quite a few times.
You did? I did it twice, but never again. I'm glad, like, you never again. Never again.
I think I did it every season after Bud, maybe once.
Oh, you did it,
maybe. Yeah, I mean, hundreds of games I've limited every season.
I guess the one big W that they took is the fact that they got rid of the 12-0 in the second season. That was obviously designed to get people back on it.
Yep.
But it just didn't.
It didn't work.
That's the problem. Everyone looked at it and went, okay, cool. I'm still not playing it.
Yeah. Did not work.
All right, cool. All right, what about the new Unlimited then? So we've got this kind of leaderboard system now. It's all around points instead of wins. We don't really know how to get points. The graphic they've shown is interesting because they've chosen to put someone who's 0 and 3 at the top of the leaderboard, which is obviously a very clear signal that winning is going to be secondary and you just got to do things in game to level up. So, yeah, what's your thoughts? I think that's everything, right? Yeah, I think tiers are the same. You just progress through points rather than wins.
Exactly. Yep. And that's what it is. And so it's hard. Okay. The way I'm seeing it all in my head is a W, but there's some questions left unanswered. I was watching Ty actually yesterday.
Yeah.
And he kind of expressed some concerns. One, about how the point system is going to work. So you're getting points whether you win or lose.
Yeah.
How is that going to work? He didn't really like the idea of gaining something for losing. I have my own opinion on that, which I think if they do it right, it's okay. So if they scale the points the correct way, so if for a win you're getting 20 points or 10, whatever, and then when you lose you're getting 1 or 2, okay, now we're starting to balance it out. But if it's too close, then I can see where that would be kind of annoying in a sense.
See the thing with that, like I said, if you look at the actual graphic, it doesn't suggest that's the case.
Yeah,
because there's no way that's just coincidental. Because DBG was saying that's just a placeholder. I was like, there's no way. They put this blog out. They want people to understand the mode. They have 100% intentionally put someone 0 and 3 at the top. That's intentional, surely. I don't think it's going to be. I think you're going to get a lot of points for losing if you lose close. I think.
I'm hoping not. Like I want to be on the side of DBG here. I hope that, because you know what, I didn't even notice that 0 and 3, and now I'm kind of looking at it like,
look at the guy in 6. He's 3 and 0. He's undefeated and down bad.
If it works like this, people are gonna have a real issue. I don't see them. I hope I don't see them thinking that makes sense to do. So I'm hoping that they just wanted to show a leaderboard and kind of just, hey, look, it's here. I just hope it doesn't work that way, because that would be, it would not even matter if that's the point.
I mean, the other thing they got rid of is relegation, which is huge. That is a really, really big deal. So you can't get relegated from the tier.
Yes.
I think this is just the most monumental W they've taken in years and years and years. I think it's going to get, it has to get everyone. If you're afraid of playing this mode, guys, get rid of that fear now. This is going to be a lot of fun. Like, you have to engage in this. You have to. Doesn't matter if you lose, doesn't matter whatever, engage in this process. The only fear factor left is like win ratios, because we know how prideful the 2K community is, and some people might not want to, you know, play the game if they're going to have a 4-12 record.
Definitely.
But outside of that, there's no reason not to play this. Comp players are going to hate this.
Oh, they're going to despise it.
Yeah, but I like the fact that that's the case. Like, I really like the fact that they've gone out of their way to go, we don't care about comp players, because comp players are like a vocal minority on Twitter, right? Like, they're really vocal, but the truth is, bro, there's like 200 of them max.
Yeah. Definitely.
But they want the game to go a certain way, which I understand. And 2K are in a no-win situation because they've got to appeal to comp players, and for lack of a better word, they've got to appeal to casuals. But we have to appeal to the casuals more. The comp players are going to play regardless. They're going to play anyway. But the 1 million casuals that abandoned this game mode for the last 2 years, this will get them back on the mode. So I'm all for it. But I know comp players in particular are going to pan this mode for the whole year.
It will, and the thing, I mean, like I'm really close to both communities. Kind of got my foot in both doors, so they're not gonna like. The thing is, though, if this leaderboard system works as intended, they may like it, because I know that, you know, comp community, they want people to know them. Okay, you know, like they want, so like to have their name exactly, you know, so to have their names shown on that board, say, hey, you know, I'm that guy. That is what it is. And that's why I think the leaderboard system is going to work, because from this blog, I mean, 2K is just showing that they took offline guys, they said, hey, we got you. The online guys said, hey, we got you. Really tried to blend it. So I think that that's the main reason the leaderboards are there, is to really appeal to that comp community. And then the way we see, you know, the point system, where even if you're losing, you can still get there. It's probably going to take you more games, but hey, you can still get there. Also, which I even forgot until I just reread this, the vault opening after every, I mean, who knows what's in that vault, but just to have a chance at a prize after every
the worst RNG mechanic for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the vault.
I mean, I would rather have no vault than a vault. I'll take anything else. The thing with the vault is, like, I said this to JD the other day. The problem with the vault is it has the potential to actually, like, take you off your high. Because you could have just beaten someone, like, buzzer beat. And I went into an overtime game last night, right? Won it by 2. Was, like, on top of the world. Like, literally felt like the man. I was like, yes, you know, you came through that. It's the game you would have lost 6 months ago. And then if I tried to open the vault and it didn't open, it would have killed my time. It would have been better for it not to be there. So, you know what you were saying about the comp players? Like, the one thing that's clear on this is game time is going to be king, right? So with season points, if you're getting points whether you win, lose, whatever, ultimately it's going to be people who have a decent win ratio that play 12, 15 hours a day. They're actually going to be at the top of this. I think skill level is going to be not irrelevant, but certainly secondary. I think winning is now secondary as well. So I think with the comp players, like at the top, if we're talking about ties, splash, people like that, they're going to be nowhere near the top of this leaderboard because they're just not going to play the game enough to be there. It's going to be your people who stream 8-9 hours a day that play the game continuously that are decent. So I don't think the leaderboard is actually going to reflect like the best 10 players.
The best of the best. That makes sense too.
I'll be surprised if anyone who's a content creator, I'll be surprised if they're in the top 100. They're just not going to have the time.
It's just not happening. It's just not happening. I mean, you're right. But in respect to like the ties and the splashes and everything, at the end of the day, that's what their 250K tournament for. Like, we're not touching that tournament. So I mean, that's for you all, you know, like. The
thing that brought them to the dance is still there. Like, they'll still get their, they'll still get their flex off that. Yeah,
definitely. So I think that's there for them too. The one thing that we can't miss though, before we leave the topic of Unlimited at all, is the prestiges and the badges, because there is going to be a way to do that. So, I mean, top 10, like we said, top 10, that'll go how it goes. They'll get their little icon. But even if we finish whatever this prestige tier is, I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be Showdown redesign.
Yeah, that's what
in some way.
Saying. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's pretty cool too, because I mean that appeals to me. I mean, like I said, I completed Showdown, so if I can get a little recognition, I mean, no one, like you said, no one would know I completed Showdown.
Yeah,
I didn't say it, so
yeah.
I think that's pretty cool too. Just kind of recognizing, people for that they can kind of show off a little bit and flex their wings, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I agree 100% with that. Like, the one thing with Showdown, the one issue with it is it wasn't rewarding. It was rewarding once for me. It was a Peyton season when I pulled Clamps and Menace. They were my two Hoff badges. And then I put them both on Pink Diamond T-Mac, who had neither, like not even at base level. And he sold for 2.5 million just before a qualifier. So he that one Showdown bankrolled at least like 3 months of the game for me. But yeah, it's about what you get like on those prestige levels. It sounds like it's going to be another tiered system on top of the tiered system. What do you get at each level? Are you going to get a unique card for it? Because that's one thing Showdown was really missing for me.
It was.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Card would have been great. But yeah, it's a W. Everything about it is a W. Yeah. It's not one thing about it I don't like. It's elite. Okay, Clutch Time single player. So let's do Clutch Time last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm assuming, just to be clear, they haven't stated that it's like coming back online. It doesn't say anywhere that the online version of this game exists.
Well, you know what? I think it does in a very roundabout way. So I'm actually trying to get there.
If you can find it, it'll be very reassuring.
It says, so in the Clutch Time single player, on like the second sentence, it does say structured in the same way as Clutch Time online.
Yeah.
But it could just be referencing online from 22.
I'm assuming it's coming back. Like,
it's no way to cut it. I'll bring that back.
Yeah, I'll start with this. Clutch Time last year was the biggest W they took all year.
Yeah.
Wasn't close. Also set a precedent. This is one thing no one said yet. It also set a precedent that things can change throughout the year. So we're all sitting here reading this blog going, this is what it's going to be for the whole year. When Clutch Time came out the blue in season 3 last year and completely changed the trajectory of the game, I think.
Definitely.
Clutch Time's the reason I started making content again. I started playing the game, had fun with it, hadn't had fun with it for a very long time. So really important to me. Probably wouldn't make this video if Clutch Time didn't come back. So yeah, they're just an absolutely huge W. I think it brought fun back to the game when it desperately needed it. It got people playing online again, which I think most people had given up on entirely, whether it's TTO or Unlimited. It was a really well thought out mode. The structure of it, the 10 games, the no relegation, the consequences weren't that bad. The worst thing that can happen is you lose 3 games, you have to win a few more. It's not the end of the world. And the rewards were just cracked all year. All year. Like, it was just one after the other. Reggie Lewis, Albert King, Fernando Martin, Mark Eaton. It just went on and on and on. Like must-have cards. Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree wholeheartedly. So I think I've expressed my personal. I hate Clutch Time. Well,
you do? I didn't know that.
Let me be completely honest. I didn't track it. I think that I don't think I hated Clutch Time the whole time. I think once everything started to get a little too crazy and every player started to get way too big, I think that's when I started to dislike it and I didn't notice it. As a whole, the most great rewards, the way you get up there. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could, which no one would ever do. I mean, some people have, but you could really get through Clutch Time in a day. If you really wanted to sit there and get, but like you can also just pace it out. And that's kind of what I did when I wasn't enjoying it as much. I would go in, a few games a day and I just knew I would eventually get there. The rewards were good enough. Even when it wasn't the player cards, it was, they're throwing 50 tokens here, a diamond contract here. There's 2 Hall of Fame badges. I mean, it was great. It was great. The only thing I would hope for Clutch Time, there's 2 things I would hope.
You want a bigger court?
I want a bigger court. I want that everywhere in the game. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Limited. Because I mean, that's another story for another day. But like, even in Unlimited, it would make the game so much better because court sizing the scaling from the player builds to the court size.
Yeah, it's true.
It runs into a lot of
point
issues.
In the year where it's just 7'6",
just too much. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
But in clutch time, it's even worse because that court is like smaller. And then I mean, once it was whatever season, well, I guess season 8, I was just done with it because that's when they had 50 versions of Yao Ming and Taka, and I was like, nah, I can't do this. It was Yao Ming at point. I was like, nope.
We're done. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it.
I think end of the year it just does become a problem. The court just gets filled up. I wouldn't if nothing changed on it, it would still be a W for me. But
yeah,
I get the issue end of the year. But it's interesting. You're the first person that said you like the court bigger on every mode. That's what you said, right?
Every single mode.
Yeah,
every single mode. I think it'll randomly start to show different gameplay and gameplay strategies is what it is.
Yeah.
It's because with the court being too small, I mean, it's either you're taking a 3 or, I mean, people use mid-range a little bit more, but it's 3 or dunk, whatever at the rim. If you open the court up, now you really can, maybe someone who likes to play in a post, they have more room, you can hit the mid-range. So I think
mid-range might be a better look more often. I agree, man. That's all right. So we giving last year's, I'm giving it a W. What are you giving it as a grade?
W for good. Without my personal bias.
Yeah, with your personal bias, what is it? An L?
It's an L.
Good job being objective. Good. Right. All right. So the change this year, I mean, I haven't said anything about the online version, so I'm assuming it's the same. But we have offline as well. So thoughts on that?
So offline is fine. I liked it there. There was a whole big thing in 22. I don't know if you remember, but where they were putting like challenges where you had to go online. And that was a big thing because offline guys didn't want to go online. Online didn't want to go offline. So not even saying that's what's going to happen with the agenda, but just as a mode, I think it's perfect that they brought in just a single player. Some people just want to stay offline, and kind of have fun. So I think it's great. The one thing I'm intrigued about is how's the reward system going to look compared to the online. I assume it would have to be different. But I just wonder how that is going to look. But irregardless of it, it's a W that they added a single player version of it.
So it still says the goal is to win 10 games in the tier without losing 3. So the format seems to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I think where we get the rewards will be the same. The question is, how good will the rewards be
once you get there? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, online. I really like this. I think XP is such a miserable thing for me to do. It's so miserable. Like sitting there with spreadsheets open and all. Like it feels more like work than work sometimes. Like doing XP.
Definitely.
They put in a lot of fixes for that this year. They've got the agenda trackers and all these different things, which is cool. But this is probably the best fix they put in for XP because I don't know how much. Do you do XP? Is that do you do it?
Oh yeah, I do it.
Yeah. There's so many times where you have like 4 players that you need like a minimal requirement with 2 rebounds, like you need a couple of points with another player, an assist with another player. And TT offline has kind of been that mode that people will go into, but you're just kind of playing just for the XP. You're not going to get anything from TT offline that's valuable, so you just jump into the game, jump out. It's also an incredibly boring mode. The alternative is rookie domination, so you're playing for like 40 minutes just to get the XP done. Yeah. And then people got to a point where they're wised up and they were like, all right, well, this challenge needs 25 points and then it ends. So people start
and do it there. Yep.
But clutch time just becomes the solution for this. The danger of this is it could completely make TT offline redundant.
Yeah, and that is true because you have that other offline kind of avenue to go through.
I mean, unless you're Ricks, the only reason someone plays TT offline is for XP. That's the only reason.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because he plays that thing to enjoy it, and he does a good job with it. But no, I actually see what you're saying because there is like some multitasking XP that probably would be way easier, especially considering the structure of it. So if I'm doing XP, I'd rather take a chance of playing 10 games while I'm doing my XP, get my 10 wins, and get whatever that reward is over. Maybe something's coming out of this vault, or maybe it's just 1 token every time, So,
and it's the speed of it as well. Your opponent's going to have a 14-second shot clock, so you're just going to get through those possessions way quicker, get that XP done way quicker than you. You know what it's like on TT offline. Guy gets the top of the key, holds the ball for 23 seconds, and then makes a move. I'm like, oh, this is brutal. So I think this is a direct solution actually to that problem. I think it's going to make XP way easier, and yeah, like you said, it's going to be more rewarding than repeating a game of Rookie Dom.
Yep.
So yeah, there's kind of nothing to complain about this, and yeah, offline players, people who prefer to play offline, it's just another mode for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's perfect. And the other thing we didn't even think about, and they didn't mention it, but this also even gets better. I'm going to assume that it is if they have a wheel every time you win.
Oh,
so, yeah. So then even if you're, let's just say you've gone through whatever, the whole tier base or whatever. I mean, at that point, like I said, if you're doing versus TT offline, you're kind of banking on the ball. I mean, even if you get something crap off the wheel, it's something that you're at least getting every single game.
I didn't even think about that. I don't know why, but I never even thought about that. Yeah, you will get a wheel spin every offline game as well.
Yeah, I didn't think about it till now, so we're both in the same boat.
With contracts being gone, it's guaranteed MT, isn't it? At least for every game or a couple of tokens. Yeah, good. No, it's good. That is a W from me. Easy.
W. Yep. W.
Right.
W on both.
There's a lot of W's. They're taking a lot of wins here. They are taking a lot of wins here. Let's do Domination really quickly.
Yeah.
So, two things. One, they've released 5, or they're releasing 5 at once, which is interesting. That's the best word at the moment. Their second thing is they're using this kind of Jordan era presentation style, which I'm really looking forward to. That is just something. It's absolutely a gimmick, right? It's completely a gimmick. But there's some gimmicks that are elite. There are some gimmicks that are just elite. The unicorn ball last year was my favorite thing about the game.
Definitely.
A gimmick. Just a gimmick, but that rainbow made me happy every time I saw it. So this is one of those things. I think that presentation stuff's going to be interesting. But yeah, 5 dominations. Right. Let's go. Should we go back to last year? Domination first?
Yeah, let's do last year, Dom, first.
It's going to be a really quick one. What an L. What an L Domination was.
Completely.
I can't think of a positive. Can you think of a positive?
Besides Rookie Domination being a place to do a lot of XP.
Yeah.
But then it also was an L because you were just getting your XP. There was nothing else you were getting from it. So, like you said, it was almost like a chore to even go in there and spend the time to do it.
The first Domination that was worth it was the last one. And it was too late to be worth it.
Yeah.
Because they gave you Hoff badge after every win, right? But then there was the irony of the fact that the card at the end of it was an endgame card, which had every Hoff badge. So they knew we were in that meta at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
The smallest endgame card in the game was the reward, which is Harden, the only endgame under 6'6". It was just an absolute disaster. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I did a video about the kind of pressure they put themselves under by kind of taking the 2-month break at the end. The expectations just been building and building where it's going to that point. And the one thing that I said they could not do was release a Domination, 2 months later release another Domination and call that grindable content. So they've gone completely the other way. Here's 5 at once.
Right out the gate.
At once. So if we hand that old Domination now, what are we saying about this one? What do you think about five Doms at once?
Well, I'm not a Domination. Well, I'll do the first few because in the beginning it just makes sense to do it. And most of the rewards, because it's so early, they hold their weight.
Yeah. The first one last year was Draymond, right? You could argue
Draymond. Which was amazing.
Held for a while, yeah.
It was. I think the first 2 may have been okay. Which
was Kuzi was the second one.
It was Kuzi. Yeah, Kuzi and Draymond. They held their own, and then like you said, it didn't get good until Harden. But this, so I like it. I'm also worried.
Okay.
The reason I'm worried, I love the presentation thing first of all, and if they said something about introducing the Jordan era things into it. So if that's changing the sliders and things. Some may find it annoying, but I think that will make Domination more enjoyable because if you just sit there and beat the computer by whatever amount of points, it kind of gets boring. If they kind of tweak it where maybe the settings start to change.
Yeah,
play a little different. That may make
it'll
it
be
a little
closer
bit
to
more
spotlights,
enjoyable.
wouldn't it? Then, like,
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. My fear with this though, releasing 5 at once, is that I know that they mentioned, you're gonna start, you'll get the, Amethyst Julius Randle, the Diamond Mitch Richmond, the Diamond Mike Bibby, Diamond Bill Walton, and then Pink Diamond John Havlicek. So my fear with that is, okay, I understand that all of those are available day one, but no one's completing 5 dominations anytime soon. So by the time
I still haven't completed the first one from last year.
Well, yes, there you go. So by the time someone gets Pink Diamond John Havlicek, is he even going to be useful?
Will he be outdated? Yeah,
because they have to load in his badges. He's going to be, when the game drops, he's going to be made.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wait and you don't complete this, I'm guessing he's going to be in the 5th domination. And if you have to ladder them, if you can't just go get John Havlicek right at the gate, is John Havlicek even going to be good if come season 2?
Yeah.
You have him at that. So that's my worry.
So people are speculating that it's going to be like it, like it was in previous years where you had to get 33 stars, right? Stars. 11, which would make it 77 games to get Hondo.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
Yeah. And it's probably one I won't do.
That's 30 to 40 hours of gameplay. Which people will do. Someone is going to speedrun this. There will be someone. I don't know who. Maybe Carlo? Someone?
Maybe. Or Mini Coach. Mini Coach on Twitter. He gets through. He gets through really fast.
I'm trying to think of people that have done things. SP could be that guy. He got Vince Dundee last year.
SP. CP. CP the Dog.
Yeah, CP the Dog can do it. Yeah.
He's probably going to be him or Mini Coach. That's my two. Yeah. They're probably going to be the two who do it.
If you want to blow up at the start of the year, this is a home run.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because
I don't know if there's anything you could spend your time doing that would be better.
It's gonna be so many people that's not gonna get through most of this right away. So
and Hondo's gonna be cracked.
Oh, he's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, he is. He is gonna be unbelievable. Yeah. The other thing with this, the other change is they've changed it from like MT to points. Right. So you had to get a certain amount of MT within the game to get 3 stars. Now you just got to win by a certain amount of points. Now, points is better, but we all know that none of this stuff registered last year. So you got 3 stars regardless.
Exactly.
So I'm assuming that's going to be gone. I'm assuming that will be fixed. I'm not going to call it a fix because it's actually worse for us. Right. It's going to be adjusted. And points is good. I think points is a better way of doing things. Do you remember what it was like when we used to do domination before and we had to meet those requirements where you'd literally spend like the last 2 minutes of a game trying to get fouled so you could get
a free throw? It was the most miserable.
It was the worst.
It was so bad.
Literally the worst.
It was so bad. So yeah, and then sometimes you still didn't even get it. It's just the points are definitely. It's weird. It's a W to know what you have to do. Yeah. But I honestly would rather have it like 22. Like, I win the game, cool, I'll move on.
Yeah. Check that out. Yeah, I mean, it depends what the points are going to be. I think that's actually potentially how the difficulty is going to progress. So I think it could be like you've got to win, like in the first Dom, you've just got to win 1 point. Then it'll be 5, 10, and then by the time you get to Hondo's when you got to win by 25 or 30.
Yeah.
I can see that being how they escalate the difficulty.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. So what do we think? I'm going to call it a W. I just don't care. Like, it's not something I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But I think the community has spent so much time complaining that there's not enough content, that them delivering too much content just seems a ridiculous complaint to make. So I have to give it a W.
Yeah, I think I'll lean on it being a W too for a few. I mean, it's there. So the offline guys, I mean, people literally play my team for offline. So like, I mean, they shouldn't run out of content, or just things to enjoy themselves for a while. I mean, even for the guys who want to speed run it, I mean, from a content perspective, that's great. The gimmick or the change with the Jordan thing just to kind of make the game feel uniform, I think that's pretty cool too. It just give it a different feel. So I think they did enough with it to make it just not let me mindlessly play through these just so I can get my Draymond,
Yeah.
So I think it's a W overall.
Oh man. Yeah, same page. All right, let's do limited. Let's start with limited last year. I'm so frustrated with this mode. So frustrated. It should be my favorite mode, and it's just not.
Yeah,
that's what frustrates me about it. Just the creativity is all it needs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they must have dropped the last requirement of the year today, right? I guarantee you. I don't know what it is.
See it today.
I guarantee you, it's going to be like 1 opal, 1 pink diamond, 1 diamond, and if there's any level of creativity, they'll lock it to a team. But you have to use 1 franchise. That's it. That's as far as the creativity goes.
Do you remember when it was like use like alumni from a certain college or something like that? I think it may have even been in 2K21, to be honest. I can't remember, but I remember one weekend it was like that, and I was like, "This is about to be the craziest, most fun mode ever."
Yeah. I just missed the weeks where they did like you couldn't use a player with a over 75 3-ball and things like it was so much fun, dude. Like I beat a comp player the first time they did that 3.1. I literally I matched up with a comp player in limited, smashed him by 50 because he couldn't dunk. He was so used to shooting, that's what the mode was for. That's what it should be for. Like these interesting dynamics. It's just been so.
It's just stale. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. For me, limited was how fast can I get my ring, and then I'm never touching it again. I even skipped out on XP Unlimited. I mean, because once I got my ring, I was done. I didn't care about anything else, and that was it. But it's the only mode that kind of made us think and kind of restricted. So it's a hard one. It's a hard one for me. I'm kind of in the middle.
I'm giving it an easy L. For the fact that for 2 months everyone just ran Rui and Denny, like it has to be. The whole purpose of the mode was lost. The whole purpose of the mode was lost for me.
I agree. I wanted to give it more, to be honest, but I just didn't care for. I didn't care for it at all. Honestly, limited was probably the last thing I ever wanted to do, and because it was only on the weekend. I think that was another thing. Is that I mean, come the weekend, not everyone wants to sit there, especially when a ring wouldn't show up for whatever reason. It was just awful. I just turned on my game just to take a look. The requirements now are required to use 13 from the same franchise, 1 Dark Matter, 1 Galaxy Opal.
So I called it exactly apart from the fact you can use a Dark Matter. It's a joke. It's a joke. Why am I should never be able to predict it. I should have been close. There's so many things you can do. Badges, stats, height. Like there's so many things. Teams, conferences, rings. How many things?
Anything
is bonkers. Cool. Yeah, I think I still think it has the potential to be one of their best modes. They just need to execute it right.
Definitely.
So an L from last year. What are you giving it for last year?
For last year, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm probably honestly gonna give it an L. Usually, I try to see like on my opposite side, but like I never enjoyed it. So I can't even give it a. I never enjoyed it. So I'm giving it an L personally. From last year.
Okay, so next year the big change seems to be that you get each prize, right? So before you would get to the end, and you would either play the last week or not play the last week, depending on when you won the Hoff badge or the player. This year you get everything. So you win you get the first ring, you get the first prize, and so on. So the prizes are going to change because the diamond contract doesn't exist. So there's going to be other things in there.
Different.
Yeah. That's better for sure.
Definitely. That was one of the community complaints. That was one of the community complaints to get every prize. So they listened to that directly.
It was a big request. Yeah, it makes sense. Like I kind of said this the other day. Like 2K strategy for a long time, and what they seem to be changing is like the big build to the payoff. That's been the strategy for a long time. You do something for a huge amount of time. Unlimited being a good example, XP being a good example, limited. It's weeks and weeks and weeks of doing something, then you get a payoff at the end. And there's very little along the way to kind of satisfy you. And I think Clutch Time was the first thing they did that changed that, right? Where you got something every 10 games. And now it just seems to be the theme this year, which is really good. That's really good to see.
they also with this limited as well. So for 23 limited, they also said it's the only online mode that's actually going to take the eras into. So that kind of points on that creativity. I mean, so if 1 week we're loading into, you know, the Bad Boys Pistons limited, you know, you can only use maybe players from, I mean, even if they don't restrict, no, they need to restrict the players. So like if you want to use players from like that time period or something, and then you go in and like, you know, you have the presentation, that's the old broadcast, you maybe get knocked on your head and not getting a foul. It'll just be interesting. Yeah. You know, weekend to weekend. So
I'd love to see some requirements like that. Like you could only use players that played in the playoffs in 92.
Yeah.
And then with that presentation, bro, it will be elite. It will be so
cool.
It will be so good.
What
are you going with?
As it stands, from what they say, it seems like a W. I mean, you're getting every single prize. I think that helps with the whole idea of, you know, kind of like, oh, the limited card never holds up. You know, it's, you know, not as good. So now at least you get everything. And then a card, I mean, if you didn't like it, at least you got something along the way. The introduction of the presentation, that maybe being a creative factor of it. I think they did a lot to, they definitely brought my attention back to limited is what I would say. So I'll have to give it a W.
Good. Yeah, I'm going to move it from an L to an N.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to know, I need to be confident that they're going to do something with the requirements. Like, that is the thing that needed to be in these 3 paragraphs, is we are going to be super creative every weekend and mix this up. Because otherwise the mode just doesn't have meaning.
Definitely. I mean, you can just go into unlimited at that point.
Or clutch time. There's so many alternatives to doing this. Like, the fact that I spent the last, like, 6 weeks running random lineups in clutch time, when really limited should have been the mode to just provide that. It should have forced me to do that, right? Like, so it becomes a choice in the end where you go, right, I'm so bored of the meta that I'm just going to go do something different anyway. But limited is that thing that should break you out of the meta each week in a different way and get you looking at the game differently. So if they put in here, we're going to mix it up, we're going to be super creative, we're going to have a meeting that's longer than 3 minutes to decide the requirements, that isn't the first person to go, right, 2 diamonds and a pink diamond, right, let's move on to something else.
Definitely.
That would have been it. But
you know what, one little tidbit, and I'm going to read this sentence out loud.
All right.
They say play each week to earn that week's ring and immediately earn the reward associated with the number of rings you've collected that season. Yeah. Okay. See, that can sway my way. That can take it a different grade. So, I mean, it sounds like so what I'm trying to get at is, and I don't think this will be the thing, but like, since it's saying play each week to earn that week's ring and immediately earn that reward associated, could you not play until week 6? No, you're probably going to have to collect all 6 rings to get the card on. Okay. That I was kind of thinking, I'm like, well, is that saying that like now they're letting you at least just choose your prize? So like if you didn't want to play 1 through 5 and you just wanted to play it, wait until week 6 and get it. But I'm assuming that probably.
I think it's the volume of rings that you have, isn't it? Yeah. That would have been good. So. That would have been good. Yeah, I think something like that, because it still has the issue of if you're away for a weekend.
Yeah.
Like next weekend, I'm going to Cardiff to meet up with IJ, Josh, and DBG. We're going to the wrestling. Like I played limited that weekend. Fortunately, it's the weekend that limited ended, so I'm not going to need to. But there needs to be a workaround on that again. They did be on the 40, didn't they, this year?
Definitely. And from that perspective, you know what? No, I'm gonna leave it at that. Because like I said, the Beyond, like you said, they solved it with the Beyond. So at least it's a way to still get it. So yeah, I was going to move it to an N, but I'm going to stay with W.
Yeah. Just to be clear, if the requirements turned out to be elite, it's a huge W.
Yeah.
They just haven't said it. So I'm just going to go with what that says.
Go with what you know.
Yeah. All right. So draft, I think this is the last one. Actually, let's do TT offline first.
Okay.
Let's get that out of the way, because I think TT offline, I think the only change there is settings, right?
I think the settings, yeah.
There was a few. I'm trying to find it on the thing. Yeah, I mean, I am concerned about TT offline and just the relevance it's going to have this year. I think the mode could die entirely.
Yeah. Well, the only thing, and I hate to kind of bring it back, I guess we'll just have to see how this exactly works. Because if this triple threat online thing is technically a way to get through the offline ladder, then I mean that probably kind of saves it. I mean, if you just kind of want to go in with 3 people and just, you know, beat up on the AI with 3 people and just have a good time, then at that point offline, you know, is good. But if it's separate, I think it's tied to it. So that's the only kind of.
I'm not sure. You could be right. You're the first person who's kind of said that. But it is kind of how it reads, right? I think you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's saying go through the season ladder. I mean, it seems like it has an off. It seems like the other 2 ways to play outside of the competitive way may be offline, triple threat offline variants. You know, you're playing, you're online with friends, but you're still going through the offline ladder. It's what I'm taking it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So in that aspect, this one for me would be a W. I mean, make a new way to play it with friends. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. If that's the way, that's the way it goes, that's definitely good. What would you have given it last year?
Oh, last year just an L. Sorry, Blasian. It's just an L. It was.
Do you know why it was an L?
XP and it was out. You know, and there was too many wins to get.
That's
those things. It was just crazy.
It's every year for the last I don't know how many years, but like by November, everyone's given up on it. The fact that we're sitting there talking about Ricks like being the guy who does it, even he didn't complete it.
He didn't. No, he said, I'm doing it.
He saw Vince and went, I'm out. So the big thing that they've improved is the fact that it changes every season, right? So it's not one continuous ladder.
Right. It refreshes now.
Yeah. Now, if you know, I don't know, I guess it's going to be 250 games or whatever a season, which is good. Yeah, I agree. It was an L last year. It's an N at the moment. I mean,
yeah, I would say N too. Yeah. It's to be determined, really. Yeah. The seasonal refresh thing is cool. You know, if it's only like 300 games instead of you got to play 500 more. But again, it's gonna come down to being an N because even the saving grace for this, I'll say the saving grace for this is if what I said, that online lets you progress through the offline ladder, then in that way I would say it's a W because it makes it more interactive. But if I'm just mindlessly playing triple threat offline, no disrespect to Blasian, I know you love it, but I just couldn't do it.
It's not fun. Yeah, I am like I said, I'm really concerned that touch time offline is going to make TT offline redundant. Like completely redundant. If the rewards aren't worth grinding for, there isn't a reason to touch it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Because like you said, XP was the only thing, and if that's better off somewhere else, then hey, well.
I mean, I got to the point about 3 or 4 months ago where I was doing like all my XP online just because I found it a more fun way to do things. I physically couldn't load up triple threat offline or domination again, so I just started torturing myself a different way. It's an N, but literally just. I think this might be the last year we see it. I think
so. I think it's on its way.
Yeah. Okay, we got one left. I think the draft is that the only one.
The draft. Yep, the draft.
Okay, so a simultaneous L to start for last year.
Let's just give it an L.
It was so bad.
Let's just give it the L.
The first season was like an N. Because we got, was it Glenn?
Glenn. Well, Glenn was good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Glenn was good. Yeah. And then, could you name a reward after that?
Oh my, Andre Drummond. I only know because I wanted to play with it.
Your eyes started twitching just
I was trying. I couldn't think of anything. Like, I literally Andre Drummond because I think that may be the only other one that I actually kind of wanted. I wanted a big inside center. And so I got Drummond, and then the other, if I got any other one, I don't even know. I just got it by mistake, to be honest.
I've got most of them, and I the only one I could remember was Jerry West.
No, well, see, I don't even think I played a game of draft that season. It was bad.
Okay, yeah.
The Ascension was really good in the first few seasons, though, but then it just... It just stayed the same.
They needed to update it.
Yeah.
Okay, so... what have they told us about next year? They've basically said we can change our lineup before the game, which is good. That's a big win. Mm-hmm. Is that it?
It's that, and then I think you get the Ascension picks. You get to do the Ascension after every game instead of letting it accumulate.
And you can join the mode.
And you could join with MT.
Yeah. Nothing doesn't fix the problem. None of that fixes the issue.
The actual issue of it.
It's like limited. It's like what I said. Like the thing they needed to say, they didn't say, which is how we draft a team needs to be way more interesting and exciting. Because it is pack and play. It's pack and play.
Yeah. It needs to be a draft.
Yeah.
And I think DBG was the first one to mention it. Because I didn't play my team back when it was the pack and play. So when I heard draft, I immediately thought, because I played Madden before, so I thought it was the Madden type of draft where they give you see everything and then you pick. And then I played this and I was just like, I mean, okay. It was just kind of weird.
It is weird, yeah. It's like, here's a team, go win 10 games.
Yeah, pick the best player out of it, you know?
And that's the thing, it was never once a choice between those three players as well. You never had like three players where you were like, oh, you know, I don't know which one to go with. It was always so obvious.
It was obvious too. And you just took the two, and that was it.
Some random 69 heat check. Like yeah. It was an L last year. I think this is the one mode that could still be an L next year. I don't think they've told us anything that makes it better.
It's hard. Based off what we have.
Yes, yeah. That's important to recognize. Yeah.
As it what we have, I don't think anything really moved the needle. Like fully. Like the MT thing, okay, that's just another way for us to get in. I never had an issue.
Exactly.
I never had to use
what I was
VC.
gonna say.
So
you always had enough tokens.
Yeah, I already had enough tickets, you know. So I mean, that didn't move the needle too much. The Ascension, I mean, I didn't mind getting it at the end. I didn't even think that was the thing that they wanted to change. So
that is good, I guess. The Ascension thing is okay. I mean, you know, you get to 6 wins, and if you've already pulled the grand prize, then you can just play 4 games for fun. You know, try and get diamond or whatever. So changes the psychology of it a little bit, but not like you said, doesn't move.
No. I think the bigger thing would have been if they made it an actual draft. And then the other thing that really kind of tips the scale is if it's gonna come when the game comes. What's the reward card that's sitting there? I mean, if you give us a really good reward card, then we're talking, you know. So
this is the weird thing, right? Because they're saying the reward card is going to be this weekly takeover player, right? Which is going to be the reward in every mode.
You're right.
So
I don't even like
someone starting this mode and not already having the grand prize are really low.
Yeah. So now I'm glad you mentioned that because I read it, I understood it, and I didn't think about it until you just said it. And now I'm just almost completely turned off. Yeah,
it's bizarre.
It
is bizarre. This whole weekly takeover reward thing is odd. I mean, they're literally giving every mode the same reward.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know what to think about it. I'll have to see. I'll have to see what that is. Yeah, once it comes.
There's definitely a big upside to it, which means everyone can get every card. Which, like I said, is something I'm always keen on. But not everyone should have every card, which is the issue here.
Definitely.
Okay, yeah, this is probably an L. So overall, let's do the overall from last year, this year. What you ranking like game modes as a whole, 2K22 to 2K23?
So as a whole, I think I have to give them. See, it's tough. So game modes as a whole, I want to give it a W, but it's just some things that I still really need to see how it actually works. I think they did a good job of trying to improve and maybe add things to get people more involved. Like I love what they did with Unlimited. I actually love it. I don't even care what the leaderboards end up being. I love what they did with Unlimited. I love what they did with this triple threat co-op thing. And then, I mean, the single player clutch time, I think that's cool for, offline guys as well. So I think they did enough to really kind of take everybody into mind with it. I'm going to start with the preemptive W because I actually think this is going to be a really enjoyable mode this year. And then it's just up to them to how they execute it. That will sway me once it really gets down to it.
It's going to come down to, yeah. And obviously gameplay is going to play a huge part in a lot of this and how enjoyable it can really be. I agree, man. I think it's an easy W, like easy. Everything, pretty much everything. I mean, nothing sounds worse. That's the key, right?
That's the
like,
start.
Last year we had, I know you like the 100, but it was universally panned. You know, we had stick shooting in the year before, which was universally panned. It doesn't seem like they're going to come out the gates because they've had a rough start to the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
They have, right?
Definitely.
Last year it was the draft and TTO that really came under the hammer. The year before, the stick shooting fiasco that went on for 4 weeks. I think they've set the game up to really get some momentum from day one, which is good. But nothing's worse. All of it sounds better. You could pick and choose a thing here or a thing there that you might not like as much, but overall, like, it's not close. It seems like a way better, more expansive, more inclusive, more incentivized game mode than it was last year.
Definitely. Yeah? And I think it's speaking volumes. Like I said, to get the recognition of like park guys, I think it's speaking for itself without even anybody touching the game. They're interested, So I mean, it has to be doing something. And then it has all the My Team guys excited. So when you can get the guys who spend their existence of 2K in the My Team mode excited, and then you can get I don't want to say rival, but the next biggest game mode, you get their attention. You got to be doing something right.
100%. Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, it's a W. It's a big W. I appreciate you coming on, man. What's your plans for this year?
Well, I have a series that I'm actually going to be doing. I'm actually going to be making a video on that, so I'm going to just keep that under lock. So, I mean, I probably am going to drop it today, but
no exclusives.
Well, I've kind of tweeted about it a little bit. Acronym RCO. Guys can take that as you will. RCO. That's kind of going to be my main thing. I'm kind of switching up. I'm sacrificing some things, but I'll explain that. But yeah, I mean, when you all see that, that'll be my big thing this year. I'm just trying to play the game in a different way, kind of highlight some things that I want to highlight this year with the game mode. So
I'm excited to see it, man. Like, the great thing about you, I've said this to you before, like you do break the meta. There's very few people in the game that do. And for me, it's always interesting to see. I hope you stream more this year. That'll be good.
That's my plan.
Yeah, and it'd be good to see you on that content and holding that, because I think sky's the limit for you, man. I think you can do amazing things. Appreciate that. Cool, right? That's everything. You got any final comments?
No, man. Just excited to get in the game. Hope everyone. I know everyone's excited.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to get it started, man. I think it's going to be a great year. Obviously, wish you best. With everything this year, not even if it's not 2K, man. I know you have a lot going on your plate, so
yeah, I appreciate it,
man. I appreciate you bringing me on too.
Yeah, we'll definitely do this again soon, man. Yeah, 100%. It's a lot of fun and a blast. Cool. All right, guys. Well, for me and Meech, until next time, thanks for watching.